Well, hello, 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 hello. How is everyone doing? Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. Welcome, welcome to another broadcast coming from the gates of transformation. I hope you are here with me. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, and even good morning to some people, depending on where you live in the globe. Welcome, welcome to another broadcast coming to you from Gates of Transformation channel. I am glad that you are joining me for yet another precious time of learning together. Who is here in the house? If you're here, let me know. Let me know if you're here in the house. Let me see who is here with me. Let me know. Let me know who's here with me. Thank you very much, Francisco. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Who else is here with me? Invite somebody, call somebody, send them a message, send them a text message, call them, get your leaders, get your friends, get your family, get everybody engaged, get everybody involved. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you live in the globe. Thank you so much and welcome to another episode. Welcome, 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 Francis. Welcome to another broadcast coming to you from Gates of Transformation channel. I am so glad that you're joining me for yet another precious time, a time of learning, of gleaning from each other. I want you to do me a favor. I will not begin until I see you sharing with someone, because the topic that we are going to handle today, the topic we're going to address, it calls for high attendance. So I would like for you to get someone to join you now. Get someone to join you. Get someone to join you now. Thank you very much for that referral. Thank you for that invitation that you're sending out. Thank you for that phone call you're placing. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Marianne. Marianne, don't be here alone. Francis, don't be here alone, and others. Please call everyone. I know some of you are not commenting, but call everyone. Get everyone to join us here. Call your friends. Send a message on your groups, on your group chats. Tell them, hop on the call right now. This is important. You cannot miss this broadcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for inviting. We have a target number of people that we want to reach today, and we cannot do that without your help. So I need your help. Go ahead and invite someone. Go ahead and tell someone to hop on the call now. Go ahead and tell someone to join us. We are right here. It has also been the reason I'm inviting you and encouraging you to invite someone is because it's been brought to my attention that most of you that are watching the videos, you're not even subscribed to the channel. So we want you to subscribe, then invite someone to subscribe. I ask you to please support me by subscribing, comment, and like, because I don't want to take this journey without you. I need you. I need your family. I need your friends. I need your leaders. I need everyone to join me. Send your comments in. Let me know you are here. Let me know you are here with me. All right. So let's begin to get prepared to dive in. I hope that you are prayed up as I am. And whilst I am here speaking, I will appreciate prayer. I will appreciate spiritual support as well as moral, as well as emotional support. I will really appreciate it. So listen, if I know you will all agree with me that times have changed. And in these times today, nations are undergoing various kinds of shakings. I don't think there is a specific nation under the sun right now that is not going through something. And with the high pressure on every side, we, the people of the world today, we are desperate for direction. We are very desperate for relief, and we want a more promising future. And we are concerned about what will happen next year, what will happen the couple of years from now, what will happen by 2030, because we know that there are agendas that are set. The Sustainable Development Goals are set to expire in 2030. So we are asking, what happens beyond 2030? We know that African Union have their agenda set, the Africa we want for 2050. But then what happens beyond 2030? Because with what is happening around and the way things are going around the world, it makes us wonder each day what the next day will bring. And in times like this, leadership is very much needed. And our desires and vision for our nations cannot be materialized, cannot materialize in the absence of knowledge. Knowledge is needed at this time when darkness increases. Knowledge must increase because light is needed to subdue the darkness. Knowledge is light. And that's why today I am very excited to be teaching on a topic: knowledge, a landmark of transformation. Knowledge is a landmark of transformation. Do me a favor. This flight is about to take off, but it cannot take off without the right people in the room. So invite everyone you know. Call everybody you know. Place a call on a platform. Tell them, where are you? We are live. Come on board. We are live. Where are you? Come on board. So invite everyone to be here. And if you're here already, just let me know. I know Marianne and Francis are not the only ones here. So if you're here, comment, give me an emoji, send something. Let me know you are here with me, because we are about to dive into a very, very important topic that we don't want many people to miss today, especially our leaders. We want them to be here. We want them to be here. Text somebody. Text somebody. Let me check the messages here. Text someone. Call someone. Some people are telling me they cannot join. Hold on just a moment. Good evening, Antoine. Good evening, Khadijatu. Thank you for joining. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. And don't join alone. Don't join alone. We have David. David is here. David is in the house. Don't you join alone. Get someone now. Call your friends. Call your family members. Call your parents. Call your teachers. Call your professors. Call everyone. Call your leaders, whether they are spiritual leaders or they are leaders in the office, in the community. Don't leave anybody behind, because we are going to dive into a very important topic today. And the title of the topic, what I'm going to be addressing and talking about and digging into today, is knowledge, a landmark of transformation. And this is just part one. If they miss part one, they may not be able to understand part two. So get them here this evening, this afternoon, this morning, depending on where you are tuning in from. Knowledge, a landmark of transformation. Let me see if anybody else is experiencing challenges. All right. We are going to continue. I want you to please do your nation a favor right now. Inviting people is not just about you or about me. It's about doing your nation a favor, because the topic on the table today calls for a gathering. It calls for a gathering. We all need to gather here. Thank you, Zainabu, for joining. It calls for a gathering. Call everybody. Call everybody you know. Tell them, come here. Where is that mentor of yours? Where is your coach? Is your coach here? Is your mentor in-house? Is your leader here? Are your friends in the house? Call them. Get them to join us right now. Yes. So I want you to hear me, though. As I introduce the topic, knowledge, a landmark of transformation, I want you to hear me that there are several landmarks that facilitate transformation in a nation. not just the nation itself, but a nation and her people. And one of the most prominent of all the landmarks that exist in a nation is knowledge. But before I dive deep into talking about knowledge, I want to lay a very solid foundation, for us by first addressing what landmarks in a nation represent. Because I'm sure when most of you saw the title in the YouTube channel, you're wondering, landmark? What's a landmark? Knowledge is a landmark of transformation. What is a landmark? You know, I have started working on this teaching, knowledge, a landmark of transformation, back in January. Was when I started to put together the content. But then I cannot tell you how elated, how excited I was when I attended a conference in the month of May. I attended a leadership conference, and where I was very pleasantly surprised by a teaching on landmarks in a nation by one of the speakers. I thought I was the only one that had the thought that knowledge is a landmark. They were not teaching specifically about knowledge, but they laid a very beautiful foundation for me by addressing what generally are landmarks in a nation. That teaching, I'm telling you, that teaching was everything. I mean, when I heard that speaker on the second day, I believe, of the conference, it was a 3 days conference, and I heard that speaker on the second day, I think from that point on, I was full. I was done. I was done with the conference. I think that's why I was led to go to that conference. That's why I believe the opportunity came for me to attend that conference, because I needed to hear that teaching as I was preparing my own teaching. And that teaching lit up something so powerful inside of me that right there in the auditorium whilst the conference was ongoing, and even after I left the conference, I couldn't help but dive deeper into digging for more knowledge about landmarks, because I realized from the speaker at the conference in May how important these landmarks are, and how we cannot underestimate the landmarks in our nation. So in that process of studying from May through now, I learned that every nation was erected on a foundation. I believe that this is something also that I have shared in previous broadcasts, that every nation was erected on a foundation. And just like when a building is being erected, demarcations are made to allocate each area of the infrastructure a purpose. I want you to really stay tuned and be with me. So right now, to understand where I'm going, I want you to picture a construction site, a big piece of land where machines are there. There's gravel, there's cement, there's water tanks. Everything is there because construction is about to begin. I want you to picture that construction site where a very huge building is going to be erected. Let's just say a university is going to be erected, or let's say it's a state house, or let's say it's a palace, or let's say this building is a White House, and it is going to be erected on this piece of land. And with the demarcations that are made on the land, when they dig the foundation and they divide everything, you see some demarcations on the ground. It doesn't make sense because it's all mud and sand and gravel. So sometimes we don't even know what these demarcations are. But the builders, which in this case, God is the builder of every nation. The builders of this particular building do know what the demarcations represent. And with the demarcations or the partitions that are on the ground in this foundation that the builders map out, it is required that landmarks be laid, which includes the pillars that will hold the building or the walls or the different areas that are segmented to hold them secure. And sometimes we even need landmarks around the entire building to hold the building in place, to hold it very secure, especially if it's a story building. If we are building 7 stories up, the higher the building, the deeper the foundation. And the higher the building, the stronger the pillars that hold it. Those are the landmarks. So what I just described If you understand where I'm going, you understand what I've just said, give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Are you picturing this big, huge, massive building that is demarcated? This massive building where they have demarcated and partitioned areas to give the infrastructure a purpose, because each area serves a purpose. Each area serves a specific purpose. So just like what I described with the building, nations also have landmarks. And these landmarks in the nation, they keep the people secure, just like the pillars keep the building secure. Landmarks in the nation keep the people secure. They keep people aligned. Landmarks keep people orderly, and they keep people very cultured. Landmarks keep people secured, aligned, orderly, and cultured. And there are physical landmarks in a nation, just as there are also spiritual landmarks. And these landmarks, they cover different aspects of the society that are the very core and fabric of the people. In the context of the Gates of Transformation channel, I believe that you understand that these landmarks are the 7 gates of transformation, the 7 gates of influence that I've been talking about. And those gates, we've talked about the gates in the previous broadcast. What the gates are, the 7 gates of influence. These are the gates that keep the nation solid. These are the gates where anything and anybody can access the people and the resources of the nation. These gates must be securely fastened. These gates must be built with a very solid foundation. That the amount of investment that we make in the foundation and of the gates should be stronger than any other investment, because the gates will determine what happens to the people in the nation. So in nations, there are physical landmarks, and then there are also spiritual landmarks. And these landmarks are not only physical boundaries, because the picture I gave you of a house, of a building, a massive building, is a physical infrastructure. But I want you to go deeper, that these landmarks are not only physical boundaries, but they are also spiritual forces. And when we are not aware of them, or when we violate the landmarks, it causes a society to become bankrupt of positive transformation. The reason, when we look around some of our nations and we are not able to understand why transformation isn't happening, why is so much money coming into this nation, but then we are not able to experience transformation? Whereas there are so many programs, but we cannot experience transformation. Why do we have so many massive buildings? We have a White House, we have a State House, we have leaders in office, we have leaders of communities, we have leaders of institutions and sectors, but why are we still not being transformed? Is because some of the reasons for lack of transformation that we are experiencing are a result of the violation, or the moving, or the shifting, or the even not being aware of the landmarks that exist. Because when landmarks are not taken care of, when they are not catered to, it can cause a society to become bankrupt. So just like leadership, knowledge is also one of the landmarks that should not be tampered with in a nation. We cannot tamper with knowledge, because it's an important landmark in a nation. However, today, when you look at our world from where I'm looking at it from my lenses, through my lenses, from my perspective, if you look at our world today, with social media, with content creators, with conferences, forums everywhere, seminars, degree programs, certificate programs, schools are popping up everywhere. In some of the nations, when I look at some of the nations, it looks like every Tom, Dick, and Harry now has a school. And some of the people that are even owning schools today, do they even understand the landmark of knowledge? Do they understand the gate of education? Is it just a business to make money? Or is it a landmark where the owner of the school can utilize their school to facilitate transformation in a nation? Those are the questions we need to be asking. But with all the forums, with all the schools popping up everywhere, with all the institutions, educational institutions popping up everywhere, with all the degree programs, with all the certificate programs that exist, with all the mentorship programs, we have Grandpa Google and we have Grandma AI. And with all of that going on in our world today, information is rampant. Information is very rampant. And but that is where the problem lies. Our problem is that information is rampant, because then we have a lot of people, including leaders, who are acquiring a lot of information, yet a majority of the people are stuck in the place I call the gap. Let me say that again. We have a lot of information going around. People are so busy. Everywhere you turn, something is happening. People are in conferences, in forums, in whatever, people are holding their phones, and nobody can even pay attention to their neighbor, to their child, to their spouse anymore, to their friend. Everybody is in a gadget somewhere learning something. Something is playing. We are no longer a society, a people that are comfortable with silence anymore. If we have silence for just 2 minutes, we'll grab a device and turn on something because we just need to have some noise. With such a noisy world, people are acquiring information from everywhere. Yet, a majority of the people in our world today, in our nations, in our society, in our communities, are stuck in what I call the gap. And this gap, it happens to be this place, this space where we struggle to connect the dots between the intellectual knowledge that and the principles, the techniques and the philosophies that we acquire. We struggle to connect the dots between all of that we are acquiring to real life application. So that is a very key point. I want you to place your finger on that point. Real life application, because that's where this teaching is going. This knowledge, being a landmark, is being able to acquire knowledge that is applicable, knowledge that we can utilize so we can facilitate transformation. So when everybody is, most people, majority of the people are stuck in the gap, then what this means is that we have majority of our leaders engaged in learning, engaged in conferences, traveling from pillar to post, from nation to nation, living in suitcases, going from institution to institution, from program to program. And there are so many conversations about everything that we need to do to improve our world and our nations and our society, but we lack the skills to turn theory into practice. That's a difference between information and knowledge, is that we lack the skills to turn theory into practice. So I want to pause and ask you a question. Have you invited someone yet? I know you are enjoying yourself, but don't you forget, call somebody, text somebody, drop a message, drop the channel in one of your chat groups. Tell everyone, hop on the call, come on board. We are talking about knowledge and how knowledge is a landmark of transformation. Don't allow your leaders to miss this broadcast. Please get them. So listen, knowledge is valuable in leadership. You'll agree with me that knowledge is just valuable for everybody. Knowledge is valuable in leadership. It is valuable in relationships. It is valuable in interactions. It is valuable in a business, in managing a home, in leading projects. Knowledge is needed everywhere. It's valuable. However, there are different levels of knowledge. And that's what I want to dive into right now, the different levels of knowledge. We have level 1 is knowledge. Level 1 is knowledge. Knowledge is acquired through learning. Do you agree? I want you to type that in the chat box. Knowledge is acquired through learning. I want you to flow with me. Flow with me. Type it quickly. Knowledge, level 1, knowledge is acquired through learning. once we acquire the knowledge, we go past level 1, then we should move to level 2. And level 2 is understanding. You acquire knowledge in level 1. Level 2 is you understand the knowledge. And understanding is when someone can process and digest the knowledge that they have received. Understanding is what empowers the learner to be able to apply the knowledge because they've already taken it in. Knowledge has settled in. They have processed it. They have digested it. They have understood it. That is the level 2. And when knowledge is understood, level 2 is very critical because when knowledge is understood, it means that it has settled inside of the learner. And then it now converts into energy, into zeal, to activate them to use the knowledge. And when they are using this knowledge that is acquired, knowledge should be used to first advance yourself, and then you can use it to advance others. If the knowledge that you have acquired cannot be used by you, then I don't think it will be beneficial to anyone else around you. Because transformation begins from the inside. You transform yourself with the knowledge, and then you'll be able to transform others with the knowledge. But that cannot happen if the knowledge is not understood. This is why leaders cannot just be comfortable to engage in learning or just talking about leadership. We must go a level deeper to seek understanding, because that's when we can shift from just non-productivity to productivity and from just talking to execution. We cannot execute if we don't understand. And let me rephrase that. We should not. We can execute without understanding. And I believe that is what has caused a lot of the chaos and confusion in our world today, because we have people who lack understanding executing. So we can execute without understanding, but we should not execute without understanding, because when we execute without understanding, we create chaos and confusion. When we execute with understanding, it shifts us from non-productivity to action, and from talking to execution, and from only execution to impact. That's why level 2 is very important. Now we move to level 3. Level 3 is wisdom. Level 3 is wisdom. I'm telling you, with social media today, everybody is wise. Everybody that can turn on a camera claims to be wise. But wisdom is a whole new level, which cannot be purchased from the shelf. You cannot buy wisdom. It cannot be acquired through a degree program. Wisdom is not what happens when you sit in the classroom. You don't get wisdom from the classroom. Wisdom is attracted by the learner that has acquired knowledge and understood the knowledge. Then they become a candidate for wisdom, because wisdom is the level beyond understanding. So you have to acquire the knowledge, you have to understand it, then you become a candidate for wisdom. But I need to caution us, in a day when people are claiming a lot of things, we need to remember that wisdom comes only from God. And God is the builder of all nations. And so if leaders must lead with wisdom, then they must first be connected to learning. They must understand what they are learning. They must understand who they are, understand their role, understand why they are chosen for the leadership role, understand why they are given a seat and a crown and a title. And once they understand all of that and they are executing leadership effectively, then they will attract the attention of God to add wisdom unto them, so they can become a leader that leaves a legacy. They can be a leader that brings impact. They can be a leader that facilitates and moves people in the direction of transformation. So wisdom is the level beyond knowledge, and it is reserved for those who develop the skill. Those who develop the skill to acquire and understand knowledge. That is who wisdom is reserved for. It's not for everyone. It's not sold at the market. I want you to share something with you. It's a different paradigm. Maybe it will provoke some thinking in somebody's. It will provoke some thought, or provoke you to think beyond where the level at which you're thinking right now. Wisdom is a place. Wisdom is a place. Wisdom is a territory. It is a domain. Therefore, no one can rule in ignorance. If wisdom is a place, it is a territory, and it is a domain, then no one can rule in ignorance. I want you to take it from me, what I'm about to say. Take it from me. No one can ever have dominion over things that you do not have mastery over. I shared in a previous broadcast that we can only have dominion over things that are revealed. Things that are revealed to us, their knowledge, are the things that lead us to the place of dominion. So no one can ever have dominion over things that you do not have mastery over. If the problem or the issue is not revealed and it is not understood, then it cannot be subdued. Somebody ought to write that down somewhere. That would be a nugget for you to carry along with you. If the problem or the issue that you are confronted with in your nation, if the issue that is plaguing your society is not revealed and it is not understood, it can never be subdued. For the issue to be subdued, to be addressed, to be taken care of, it has to be revealed and it has to be understood. That's why people need to seek knowledge and they need to seek understanding of the knowledge. It is what leads to dominion and power. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This is just part one. This is just to carve our appetite for this teaching on knowledge, a landmark of transformation. But there will be a part two and maybe even a part three, who knows. But I want you to hear me out. Especially, I'm now talking to those in the continent, those of us who are with roots in the continent of Africa, those of us who are with our roots, with our navels buried in the continent of Africa. I want to talk to us for a moment. Speaking of landmarks and people in Africa, we started to lose our flavor of leadership impact when we started to misunderstand the true essence of education in leadership. Let me say that again. For those of us whose navels are buried in the continent of Africa, I'm talking to us especially, and those who live in the continent of Africa, even if your navel wasn't buried there. If you live there, you are an African. So talking about knowledge being a landmark, knowledge being a landmark in a nation, being a landmark of transformation. The day that Africans or the continent of Africa or the people of Africa started to lose the flavor of leadership impact was when we misunderstood, when we started to misunderstand the true essence of education and the true essence of education in leadership as well. Let me say this as I wind down the broadcast for today. Every leader needs an education, but not every educated person is a leader. I want you to write that down, because this is a big misconception in Africa that everybody with a title, a degree, a paper, a resume, a CV is eligible to lead. But every leader needs an education, but not every educated person is a leader. I want someone to type that in the comment section. Every leader needs an education, but not every educated person is a leader. I want to clarify. Let me clarify by saying a few things. You know, education offers a leader information, and it offers the leader knowledge about leadership and the issues in the society. That's what education does. It offers a leader information and even knowledge about leadership and their issues that exist in their society. Education is an eye-opener. The reason it's a landmark is because it is an eye-opener. And education is a catalyst of awakening of the mind to issues that exist in a nation. That's why scholars, the people we consider scholars in our societies, that's why the scholars, they research, they write, and they publish papers on all the issues that plague their society. And they even advance to the level of proffering solutions to those problems in those scholarly journals and those scholarly articles that are published everywhere in every nation in higher institutions. That is the purpose that education is supposed to serve. Education is supposed to help people enlighten, brighten the eyes so we can see the issues that exist, we can understand the issues, and maybe even be able to proffer the solutions on paper. That is the purpose of education. It is supposed to, that's the purpose it's supposed to serve. But then there is a level beyond the degree and the academic accomplishments. There is a level beyond the paper that is published. There is a level beyond the conference presentation. There is a level beyond the PowerPoint presentation. There is another level. And that level is the application of the knowledge that is written, that was discussed at the conference, that is in the communique, the knowledge that was shared in the published article, in the published journal. The next level is being able to take that knowledge and effect it to proffer the solutions. Take that knowledge, apply it to effect the solutions that the paper, the piece of writing proffers. And to be equipped to apply the knowledge that we acquire from the classroom, from the conferences, the forums, every place that we go to, the libraries where we research to write these scholarly journals and papers. In order for us to be equipped to apply the knowledge that we put on in writing and discuss and talk about, we need training to develop the skills of understanding. Understanding is something that we need to be trained to develop the gift in understanding. So once we acquire and gain understanding, once we sharpen that gift of understanding, it can translate head knowledge. Is the point when we can translate head knowledge into tangible leadership results. Without the skills of understanding, we will have a lot of files and files and files of papers and policies and procedures and papers published and libraries of solutions that are proffered, written down, documented, but we will not be able to execute it because we lack the understanding. We need understanding. Everybody is born with the gift of influence. Everybody is a leader. Especially we are told in our homes, you are a leader. We are told in our society, you are a leader. We go to schools, every time there's an election, there's anything, you are picked because people see the leadership traits, because everybody is born with the gift of influence and the gift of leadership. But only those who invest in developing themselves will be able to transform their gifts into skills. There's a difference between a gift and a skill. Gift is free. That's why it's called a gift. When God created every human being, he gifted us with influence and gifted us with leadership. It's a gift. It's there. We have charm. We have charisma. We have all these things that we are gifted with. But then to be effective as a leader, you have to go beyond your gift. I know that there's even a very profound piece of scripture that says that your gift will make room for you to stand before kings. Yes, that's true. A gifted person can have access to see the president of a nation. Gifted in playing music, gifted in poetry, gifted in painting and drawing, gifted in photography, gifted in videography, in carpentry, gifted in any skill. A gift can open a door for you to meet a king. But if you want to get a seat next to the king, you have to go beyond a gift. Now you need a skill. Now you need solution. Now you need wisdom. Now you need knowledge. You need understanding in order for you to be granted a seat next to the king. And effective leadership requires skills. And these skills must be learned. Like I said, the gift is given to us at birth, before before we were formed in the womb. Whilst we were in the womb, we were gifted already. But the skills we must learn when we come into this world, we must now align ourselves with knowledge, with education, be people that are passionate about learning and begin to develop those gifts. Because when skills are learned, they will give us the ability to apply for practical application of knowledge. We can only apply knowledge. We can only be practical in applying the knowledge that we acquire when we have the skills to do so. And that knowledge must be processed and it must be understood. This is the very reason why we cannot. I think this is why I will start winding down now. This is the very reason why we cannot continue. We cannot continue to elect, to appoint, to hire, or to even mark leaders based on their CVs, based on their resumes, based on their biographies, based on their work experience, their academic achievements, and because they have served in public service for many years. We cannot continue to do that. No, that is a very costly error. It's a very, very costly error. It has landed us in the places where we find ourselves today. It has contributed to the chaos that we are experiencing today. It has contributed to the backwardness that most societies and nations are experiencing as a result of leaders being appointed, selected, hired, or elected based on these physical evidences that have no substantial evidence backing it. It's a very costly error. Leaders should be marked by the solutions they have already effected. And they should be marked by a proven track record of their impact to the society. This is how we should be marking our leaders. And in a previous broadcast, I talked about marking the gates, the watchmen of the nation, the watchmen at the gates, marking them. This is a criteria for marking those leaders. And I know many nations, I'm emphasizing this because the chaos that we are facing in the nations today, most of that chaos is fueled by the impending elections or the elections that are ongoing in our nations today, or the elections that have already passed. Elections are causing a major rift in our societies. And we need to start rethinking who we are running behind, who we are pushing forward, who we are voting for. It's time that we embrace knowledge as a landmark. It's time that we begin to listen to people, listen to their vision, listen to where they want to take us. If they haven't been there already, they cannot take us there. We cannot expect someone who haven't been anywhere to take us somewhere. We are always going to be disappointed. So if anyone with an impressive title, with a degree, or even with academic prowess cannot solve the problems that they write about, they cannot solve the problems they publish about, and the problems that they speak about, then they are not equipped for effective leadership. We need to rethink. We have been fooled by many who just are very good orators and speakers and writers, but they have not shown us a proven track record of being able to apply those solutions they have been proffering to us for so long. They have been writing about them, speaking about them. It's time for us to hold them accountable, to execute them, because my God, we need them. We need those solutions. So we need to hold them accountable to execute. Because if we don't hold people accountable, if we don't allow them, if we don't put them in a position to develop their skills, we allow them to continue to write and publish and speak without the skills, they will always disappoint us at the point of their leadership. So I want to share with you today that when we cry foul in our nation, I don't know what your foul is. I know what my foul is right now, but I don't know what the foul is in your nation. When we cry foul, we need to ask ourselves, How did this leader arrive at the seat? It is you and I and they and them that put them in the seat. So when we cry foul, we need to sit back and ask ourselves questions. How? How did this person, how did this leader arrive at the seat? Did they arrive here by proven merit, or did they arrive here otherwise? Did we contribute to push them to the seat they don't deserve? Or did we even contribute by not even participating, by not even taking part? Lack of participation is endorsement. I want someone to write that. Your lack of participation is endorsement. Just because you didn't participate doesn't mean you haven't made a decision. Your lack of participation is endorsement. So knowledge is a landmark. Knowledge is a landmark. Let me see what my people are saying here. Thank you so much for those of you who are connected, who are connecting, who are commenting. I really appreciate it. We cannot expect someone who has not been anywhere to take us somewhere. Wow. Your lack of participation is endorsement. That's right. Your lack of participation is endorsement. So today the topic was, let me take yours back. The topic was, this is only part 1. Part 2 is coming your way in a few days' time. So you have to keep watching, keep sharing the channel and sharing the videos with people. Invite them to watch, because if they haven't watched part 1, they will definitely be lost when part 2 is released. The video for part 2 is coming your way soon. In a matter of days, you will be able to access it. So stay connected, stay on board, stay in tune. Leaders are learners, and learners become ultimate leaders. So don't stop learning. Don't stop here. Don't watch a couple of videos and feel that you know where we are going. No, we have a long way. We have years to go, and you don't know yet where we are going. So don't disconnect. Stay on board, stay on course, learn and seek understanding of what you're learning. Should you have any questions of what I've covered in this broadcast and even the previous ones, always send me a message. Send a message, send a comment, send a message, and I'll be able to help you understand. Because with understanding, you'll be able to be effective in executing. I want you to be effective. I want you to execute. So don't stop at just taking in the information. Make sure you understand it and begin to apply it in your day-to-day leadership, because all of us are leaders. We are all gifted with leadership, and we can effect our leadership skills by using the knowledge that is learned here when it is actually understood. So I want to thank you. I don't want to go any further. I want to leave you because there are 2 profound questions I asked, and I want those questions to marinate. I want those questions to sink in, because the part 2 of this teaching is going to begin from those questions. And I want those questions to marinate. I want you to ask yourself, look at your nation. Look at what is wrong in your society. Look at what is wrong in your family. And ask yourself, how did the leader that's leading us here arrive at the seat? How was that marriage? How was that marriage, executed? How was it consecrated? How did the 2 people meet? Even that is important, because the foundation of the relationship will determine the type of home that you have, the kind of children you have, the kind of environment you breed in your home. So I want to leave you with these 2 questions as I close the broadcast tonight. When we cry foul in our nations, we need to ask ourselves, in our institutions, in our government, when we cry foul, we need to ask ourselves 2 pertinent questions. One is, how did this leader arrive at the seat? And the second question is, did they arrive here by proven merit or otherwise? The answer to those 2 questions will help you to start determining which kind of leaders you want to lead you. And you will start making decisions based on what you want, based on where you want to go. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. And it's evening for some, night for some, evening for some, afternoon for some, morning for some. I want to thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. This was part 1 today of the teaching, Knowledge, a Landmark of Transformation. Part 2 is coming your way very soon, when we will dive deeper into this landmark of knowledge. And then we will continue on the journey with another teaching coming your way too very soon. So stay connected. The vault is open and we are ready to share. We are ready to journey together in transformation. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for being here. Share the video, comment, keep sharing the channel, and do visit our website. All the links are in the comment section. All the links are below in the video. You can find the links to our website, links to how to connect with me, links for how to access our services that we offer. Thank you so much for being here. This was Gates of Transformation, and today we were addressing the topic, knowledge, a landmark of a transformation. Knowledge, a landmark of transformation. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you soon, very, very soon. Be on the lookout for part 2. It's coming your way very soon. Thank you very much.